Hey guys, it's Buddhism, and I couldn't help but respond to this. Another video of Bezel. It's like part 2 of the last one I just talked about, and it just gets more ridiculous. Bezel, you do not understand Buddhism, okay? I don't even know where to begin with you, but what I really want to focus in on is he makes this huge stink where De Silva in his book, he claims that De Silva makes a caricature of Christian services, and he, in the passage, I'm not even going to look it up, but in the passage De Silva talks about Christian services. They seem like a cross between a riot and a rock concert or something. You've got the priest or the minister like just gesticulating wildly, and people are speaking in tongues and swaying back and forth, and Bezel's like, that's not how my Christian service is. And this is just representative of how dishonest Bezel is. He makes this huge stink, and he says that critique that De Silva gave only represents a small fraction of Christianity. The small little segment of Christianity. And De Silva's just a bad guy. Well, here's where the book cover comes in handy. The original book cover, it says, this is the title, this is what's on the cover: Beyond Belief, a Buddhist critique of Fundamentalist Christianity. Fundamentalist Christianity. De Silva was very specific in the type of Christianity that he was critiquing. Fundamentalist Christianity. So, Bezel is again just being completely dishonest when he acts like, oh, De Silva's making this caricature of Buddhism or of Christianity. No, he's making a valid criticism of a particular sect of Christianity. It's not a caricature. It's accurate. You go to a fundamentalist Christian church, people do speak in tongues. The priest does, gesticulate wildly and scream and rant and rave about sin and every other nonsense, and people do sway back and forth. That's accurate. It's not dishonest. It would be dishonest if he claimed that all Christians do that, or all Christian services are set up like that. But the book is a critique of fundamentalist Christianity, Bezel. When you can't even be honest enough to mention that point, I mean, by not mentioning that point, you make De Silva out to be this horrible person that's just making a caricature of Christianity, when that's not the case at all. So if you can't be honest about that, if you can't be honest when you quote De Silva and leave out a key passage where he makes it clear that he's not saying Jesus never existed, or he's not making the argument that Jesus never lived, when you leave that out, how can you continue to talk about hold yourself in some high esteem? It's just ridiculous. You're completely dishonest. You go and criticize something just the way you talk about it. You didn't even nail the Four Noble Truths. We don't even have you've got 10 Commandments. That's a lot of stuff to remember. We only have 4 Noble Truths, and you couldn't even get those right. I don't understand, what is going on in that head? Seriously, because that's like on that's just the title. Like, how did you miss that part? A Buddhist critique of fundamentalist Christianity. That's just ridiculous, Bezel. I hope you're embarrassed by this, really, because it's just silly. And the rest of your critique, again, it would take me a whole video series to teach you about Buddhism, but you're not interested in Buddhism, and I don't know anybody that's trying to convert you to Buddhism. That book had a specific purpose, and that purpose was to arm people, primarily in Southeast Asia, who have been the victim of Western colonialism. You understand that? This book didn't just come out of a vacuum, like Buddhists getting together, let's show Christians, how cool we are. No. If Europeans had, not colonized Southeast Asia, there would have been no need for this book. De Silva wrote it as a response to the browbeating and the colonialist oppression of Western Europeans and Americans in Southeast Asia. That is the context in which this book develops. to combat particularly fundamentalist Christians who were trying to browbeat Buddhists into believing their nonsense. So it was to arm them with a threefold aim, was to arm them with facts and a better understanding of the supposed claims of Christianity, because these people had, by and large, had never heard of Christianity. It was to give them a deeper appreciation of Buddhism. So, you can, in all three of your videos, you ignore the aims of the book, you misrepresent what De Silva is attempting to do, and you misquote him, and then you critique him, a completely baseless critique, making just a completely vapid argument that he's trying to characterize Christianity. It's ridiculous. You should be ashamed of yourself, Bezel. Maybe your Christian subscribers like what you do, but you're dishonest, you're deceitful, and maybe you think that's negative, and as a Buddhist I shouldn't tell you that, but it's the truth, and I think you should know that, because if you're serious about being a Christian, the good Christians I know are honest. They're not deceitful. They don't try to make invalid arguments just to win or to whatever your point is. So it's not being negative, it's being honest with you. And the fact is, you are a liar, you're a deceiver, and you've completely and continuously and consistently misrepresented the truth on this issue. It's just ridiculous how many times you've done it now. So continue on, but try to be a little more honest. It's funny because one of the things you said, and it made me laugh. You made this comparison between Buddhism and Christianity, and you said Buddhism is like every other religion. It's a works-based religion. Yeah, there's stuff we have to do. Good things. But Christianity, not work-based, right? Now, the viewers, I'd ask you, who would you rather your neighbor be? Someone who is actively trying to be a better person, develop better skillful qualities, and do good works, or a guy who believes that no matter how good he is, it doesn't matter? I don't know about you, but I don't want to live next to the guy who thinks that no matter if he does good or bad, it matters. I want to live next to the guy who believes that if he does good works, if he does good things, that it matters. That's who I want to live next to. And I think that's who anybody would want to live next to. I don't want to live next to a guy who thinks that he can do whatever he wants and then just ask Jesus or God for forgiveness and it's okay. That's scary. I'll go kill these people and then I'll ask Jesus to forgive me. That's scary. I just challenge Basil to be more honest in his videos. Peace.